Everyone thought I was living my best life, but I was lying in my cabin at midnight wondering what I was doing with my life. You've probably seen the posts on social media about people being on cruise ships. The beautiful venues, the stunning ports, the musicians who are playing and getting paid to travel the world. And maybe part of you clicked on this video because you've always wondered if all of it was completely as perfect as it seems. And I'm here to tell you it's not. I've been working as a musician on cruise ships for 4 years, over 8 contracts, and I can tell you I have posted these kind of pictures. And I also know the part that nobody online really understands about, the parts I've been hiding and the way I've been feeling when I take my phone and put it down after posting these pictures. And so this video is about this part, the loneliness, the emptiness that comes from a life that looks perfect on the outside, and also why the most comfortable and luxurious lifestyle you can ever have can actually drain you and take you away from any kind of purpose. And by the end of this video, you'll also know if, knowing everything that I know now, I would do it again. I would work on cruise ships again as a musician or not. And the answer, I think, is probably what you don't expect right now. Just before we get into this, if you're here trying to figure out whether a cruise ship life is actually for you, I made a free self-check quiz for exactly that. It's free, the link is in the description, and you can do it before you even finish watching this video. So you might be wondering what's actually happening behind the Instagram posts. Well, especially on ship life, which is a very different kind of life from life on land. We're literally living on another planet with different schedules. We don't have days of the week, we have port days or sea days. Most crew members are working every single day, way more than anybody on land would, even sometimes up to 10 hours a day. And it might seem counterintuitive, but the more we are taken care of, the more we're kind of taking it for granted. I remember at the start of every contract, I'm so amazed by the privileges that I have, like eating in passengers' restaurants, having someone to clean my cabin and to even wash my clothes, not having to pay for anything and being able to have 10 ice creams in the day if you want it for free, waking up in a new country every single day. At the beginning, everything seems so amazing, just the same way you might feel when you're looking at someone's social media. But only just after a week or so, you start getting used to these kind of things and it doesn't feel so amazing anymore, it just feels normal. What I can tell you from my experience working on cruise ships is that as part of the crew on board, there's this feeling of emptiness that everyone carries, where we're all away from our family, we're all away from stability. And I've always been so amazed to see how few people were working on cruise ships because it was truly what they wanted to do, because that was their purpose. I think as musicians, it's a lot more the case because we are inhabited by something. We love music, we feel purpose through it, we feel resourced through it. But a lot of other people, it's just that they don't really have a choice. And so this boredom that happens after a week or so about everything you're experiencing on board and even the fact of traveling really takes you away from enjoying and from being grateful all the time. Please keep in mind, I'm also just sharing my experience. Everyone has a different kind of experience, and what I'm sharing here is very much tied to how I've been feeling at the end of my cruise ship career, where I was feeling a bit burnt out by this whole environment and also musically, as I shared in other videos. So not everyone is experiencing ship life exactly in the same way as I am, but I think a big mistake from you would be to think that just because online it seems like the best life ever, like people are having friends and they're having romantic relationships and they're traveling the world and they're having the best job in the world, etc., then they're happy, they're super happy all the time, because this is not true. I can tell you that there was a couple of nights where I felt extremely down. Like, it literally hurts me to think about what I went through in these moments. It was after my sets, so I was finishing at around midnight or 1 a.m. And this was on a contract where I didn't really make friends because I was just tired of having to constantly try and make friends with people who I was probably never going to see again after my contract. And so I was quite lonely, which didn't help. But I remember this night coming back from my sets, going to my cabin and just realizing that I'm just somewhere at sea on my own. Nobody on the ship really cares about how my day went, and I don't really have friends on here. And people at home, my friends, my family, are just keeping going with their life. I'm missing weddings, birthdays, Christmas, important events. And I just remember this feeling of failure, like feeling like the only meaningful moments where I actually feel proud of myself is when I post something on Instagram and look back at it and think my life is so special. But the rest of the time I was feeling so empty. The picture I'm sharing in this video is not so glorifying if you're interested in working on cruise ships, but for me it's really important to be honest about my experience, about what I've been through, and about what you might experience as well if you're working on cruise ships. However, if you still want to work on cruise ships after knowing everything that I'm talking about here, it means that you're really qualified for it and you're going with open eyes. And if that's the case, I would love you to take a look at the course How to Become a Cruise Ship Musician. And I really wish I had this course when I started, because this is not a world where you know these things. You can't Google like how to put a reel together for cruise ships, and there's so much about this world, about how it works, about how it is to live on board, about whether it's actually for you or not, and about how to apply the best way, whether to go directly with cruise lines or with agencies so that you can get the best contract. I've put all my knowledge and a step-by-step process in this course, and if you are interested, the link is down below. There is a launch price for the first 20 people who enroll, so go and have a look, and do not hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. Now let's get back to the video. Now you might be wondering, why is it so hard to make real connections when you're on a cruise ship? And the truth is, I've had contracts, especially my longest one, which was 11 months long. I managed to make really good friends and I had such a good time. It's not people I'm talking to anymore at the moment because everything fades away, but I've had a really good time, and I think your social life and your ability to make friends on ships can really make or break a contract. My best contracts were when I had friends and when I was having fun with people, and my worst ever contracts were when I was on my own. And so why is it so hard to make real connections? I think it's really hard to invest in something when you know it's not going to last. And when you're working on cruise ships, you know that the people you're meeting there are living in different countries all around the world. And because we all have a job where we are traveling all the time, you know, taking contracts here and there, it's hard to keep relationships, whether they're love relationships or friendships. And so I think it's really hard to invest time in getting to know people on a deep level and showing who you truly are when you know that there's going to be an end date, which usually is going to be the end date of your contract. That was not such a blockage for me at the beginning, but after a couple of contracts, and especially after a couple of months of being on a ship, you're just socially drained and you don't have this energy anymore. So that's what can make it really difficult. And if I knew all this going in, would I still do it? I personally think I would, because what ships gave me in terms of my identity, where I developed this international identity, where I already had this international identity as I was living in London before, but it's not the same. You know, you're traveling, you're seeing places, and you're speaking English all the time. You're getting to know people who are living in different places. The work hierarchy of the ship also tells a lot about the society, where a lot of Asian people, for example, are working as housekeepers or the bar people, and a lot of the entertainment team, for example, is from Europe or from the US. I've learned so much musically. I discovered myself. I was able to entertain people, to practice by performing every single day, 4 hours. And also the personal accomplishment that I am feeling right now of having been able to be a professional musician, or transitioning to being a professional musician and getting paid in this way, being able to save money. So all of these are reasons why I would never regret, and I would 100% do it again if I was in the same situation as I was when I started cruise ships. I think cruise ship life can really give you things that nothing else can. And if you feel the calling, if that's what you want to do, especially if you're not yet a professional musician, like you literally have nothing to lose. You have all the experience to gain, all the money to gain, all the traveling to gain, and I can't recommend it more. But I think it's also really important to go with open eyes and to understand it's not just the perfect life. Even when you're watching my videos, if you see the B-rolls and stuff, you might think, wow, I really want this life. And some of it is really cool, like the traveling, the sunsets at sea and the friendships you're making, but there are also really difficult parts and a sense of loneliness that you might feel when you're working on there. I think it's important to recognize that. And I think at some point it's also just asking ourselves, what do we want more? Are we in a phase in our lives where we want adventure, where we want to get to discover people, to discover places, and to just go out there and be bold? Or are we in a place where we just want to anchor ourselves, build things, and stabilize a little bit more? So if you've watched the whole video and you're not discouraged and you're still thinking that working on cruise ships might be for you, I would definitely recommend you checking the course How to Become a Cruise Ship Musician, which is literally the course I really wish I had when I first started on cruise ships. It puts it all together, how to apply, which agencies to apply. I'm even giving you my full song library so you don't have to format all the songs when you're learning the 150 songs. And I'm giving you all the insider knowledge that's available nowhere on the internet, and that might save you months and maybe even years. And so if you are interested, the link is below. There is a special launch prize for the first 20 people who enroll. So go and have a look, and if it suits you, I'd be really happy to have you in the course. I'm here to show you the honest truth about my experience on cruise ships, as well as helping you get on there if that's what you want. And so if you like this approach of being honest and not just showing the beautiful things, feel free to subscribe down below and let me know you're here in the comments so I can say hello to you personally. I'd love to know if any of this surprised you, and if it did, definitely let me know how. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video, and thank you so much for your time watching this video.